Hi, this is Dizzy, and I want to talk about the recently captured Golden State Killer. Yay! You know, it's kind of interesting. Like, within the past month or two, I saw something posted either by ID Network or one of those places. The Golden State Killer, will he ever be caught? And then Tuesday, they caught him. So, anyway, D'Angelo, 72 years old, Sacramento. He was a Vietnam vet. He was a cop when most active as a killer. He was his most active as a serial killer when he was a police officer. If I don't look surprised, that's because I'm not. He was a husband and a father. I have down 45 rapes and 12 murders. I'm sure those numbers are different on different sites and that the numbers will change as more information comes to light. Some of these rapes included a 13-year-old girl. He would tie up husbands and boyfriends in the houses where he would be raping the women. He started out as just a serial spree rapist, okay? Then he started killing the women, and also apparently the men he had to tie up in the houses. He was terrorizing California. People were terrified. And he was coming into people's houses. This wasn't like you were getting nabbed off the street, or like you could really, if you were selected, to be raped and or murdered. He studied floor layouts. He watched his victims. He got away with it until he was 72. He wasn't dumb about it. Neighbors said that he was looking forward to retirement. I guess prison is a form of retirement. And neighbors also said that he would kind of walk around kind of screaming for no reason in his backyard. And a few neighbors also said stuff like you could just feel rage pouring out of this guy, that you could tell he was a meticulous guy, and that, if you were real close to him, you probably wouldn't want to do something the wrong way. We all know people like that, but that doesn't mean they're serial killers, If I see someone full of rage, my first thought is not serial killer, I'm not going to say the joke I was thinking. Anyway, what caught him was a DNA sample. And before I get to that, I want to say he was fired from being a police officer for shoplifting. A hammer and something else. I can't read my handwriting. But yeah, he was caught with a DNA sample and what appears to be basically some trash. He was watched for a while by the FBI. They got his routine. I don't know why the FBI feels the need to get people's routines before arresting them. You have our addresses, FBI. You could just show up. Most of us have coffee ready. Or in my case, I've got coffee, I've got cookies, and I've got a whole shelf full of free copies of my books, and, a 20-page essay on why you should hire me. Anyway, back to the point. He would never have been caught, 20 years ago. He would never have been caught when he was active, unless it was a chance encounter. Because DNA has made it so much easier to just find old evidence, and run it through a few machines and find out, hey, this person's DNA is on this. And they're pulling up cold cases like you would not believe because of how advanced it's gotten with DNA just in the past decade, the past 5 years. The past probably every year, it probably gets more and more accurate. I don't know exactly what piece of DNA evidence they used to get him, but they did. And there's a lot of information going around right now, and I'm going to probably do a much bigger, more elaborate, not elaborate, but, thorough video on this guy once there's some information or even some interviews. But this just happened Tuesday, and apparently today's Thursday. So we're going to get a lot of, you know, people's opinions on the matter. Kind of like what I'm doing now. I may be giving y'all information, but I'm also giving you my opinion, which is that this guy was just a big old turd holster. Okay? I feel like, you know, even as meticulous as he was, and the fact that he got away with it for as long as he was, some of the quotes I read about that he made back when he was a police officer, the fact that he ever was a police officer, really grinds my gears, and not in a good way, because serial killers who are also police officers have a special place in hell in my mind because they use their knowledge of how to get away with it. It's just almost like cheating at being a serial killer and cheating at being a cop at the same time. But what's even more flabbergasting to me about this whole case, other than the fact that he got away with it until he was 72, is that a police department fired a cop for shoplifting. I didn't know that you could do that. I mean, if you can just murder brown people point blank on video and keep your job, I'm shocked that a hammer mattered that much. Anyway, that being said, props to all officers involved in actually catching him. And, you know, despite my bitterness about a lot of cop stuff, I really do appreciate the good ones. Sorry, as someone who's really into the whole serial killer thing, I talk a lot about serial killers. A lot of my videos are about serial killers. I'm still kind of shocked that a few months ago, or even in the past month, I saw, will they ever catch him? And my first thought was, I bet he's either dead or stopped killing, because he's old now. You know, what about Zodiac Killer? Maybe there's still hope to catch him, you know, or, you know, even one-time murderers who haven't been caught. All these cold cases, and then, of course, my favorite, Lisk, Long Island serial killer, who I believe is or was a police officer as well. I think his profile is going to look a lot like little old Mr. D'Angelo over here. So, I would like to work more on this guy's profile and read more about it before I make another video. But wanted to share my overall excitement about having another serial killer caught, and I would like to know y'all's thoughts on how we can better utilize DNA to catch more people without necessarily infringing on individual rights, if possible. The fact that there's not a database of missing people that's really interactive between police forces, you know, between counties and parishes and even states, and there's not like a national missing persons database that is really accurate, is a big deal to me. But the thing is that doesn't matter in this case, because these people weren't missing. They were raped and murdered in their own houses and stuff. So with someone like this, there's not a database that could help me catch someone like this, or help anyone catch someone like this outside of DNA. Because these smart ones, man, these smart ones aren't any good. I mean, it's good, I guess, for them because they don't get caught until they're almost dead anyway. But there's a lot of smart, bad people out there. And the only way to really catch people like D'Angelo is to utilize smart people stuff like DNA. I haven't had coffee yet, so I'm out here saying stuff like smart people stuff. Anyway, I'm going to go back inside. I come out here because it's quiet. And yes, I'm filming this on my phone because my netbook is acting stupid. I guess it hasn't had coffee either. Anyway, thoughts on the Golden State Killer, etc. leave in the comments below, and I hope everyone has a great Thursday.